Welcome back. Well, you were very quick. Thank you for getting in touch with the ways you've been getting creative in lockdown, following the video that we saw of the teddy bears that have been enjoying the roller coaster in the Netherlands. There they go. I'm not sure I'll ever tire of this. Let's watch them go round a little bit. There we go. Oh, there's Ronan. He's back.
Thank you.
Right then, Matthew says, we love camping, and as we haven't been able to get away, we decided to camp in the garden and have our own getaway.
Look at that view, gorgeous.
You don't need to go away if you've got a garden like that.
Katie says, we had a lockdown festival. We have done something different every weekend. We had a Christmas, a posh garden party, a Great British Bake Off, Pirate Day, Space Camp and Spa Day. You're having the best time ever. Well done.
Kelly says our youngest is missing preschool so much. We've been doing plenty of reading with books that her teachers read.
Zoe says, I made Gok's chow mein. It was my first attempt and it was delicious. Thank you, Gok. And this morning, that was good, wasn't it?
Emma says, my husband and I made a table for our barbecue using pallets, and I'm happy with it.
I like
so you should be. Nice colour too, yeah.
Lindsay says, we've been doing a weekly pub quiz. Even you two made a guest appearance. Look at that. How did we do that?
How is that done?
Are we masks? I think we're masks.
Are we?
I think that's what it is.
The hair's good, though, on you.
Yes, that was a good night, and I don't remember. That's where I went.
Yeah, thank you for those.
Now then, dentist surgeries across England are reopening today, but what can we expect from an appointment in the new world of social distancing? And will full service be resumed?
Dr Monik Vasant joins us now from his surgery to explain. Morning, Monique.
Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning. So you found out that you were going back to work on the daily press briefing.
Yeah, it was a funny one. We were watching one of the news channels, and a little banner came up at the bottom of the news during the Prime Minister's bulletin, just to say dentistry was opening again on the 8th of June. And then later that day, we received something from the Chief Dental Officer saying that dentistry was going to open up again on the 8th of June, and they would send us what protocols and what measures we need in place. And that didn't arrive until Thursday afternoon, so basically 1.5 working days ago. So, yeah. A little bit short.
That doesn't leave you much time then, does it, to get all the PPE, I imagine, that you need in place? So does that mean that some surgeries won't be able to open today?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got roughly around about 1/3 of practices opening, from what I hear from the British Dental Association. So the majority of practices are still getting things in order, because obviously there's certain protocols we needed to put in place that we only found out about on Thursday. And it's a mad scramble for all the correct PPE. Now, I was lucky in that I got some things in advance, and then I've been, even over the weekend, been scrambling to get the final bits and pieces. We've still got bits coming in, but unfortunately, you know, this message has got to be put across to patients that there will still be some practices who are getting themselves ready, but hopefully, you know, it won't be long before everybody's up and running again.
What are you actually going to be wearing? What's your PPE quota?
Well, I mean, they've split the PPE requirements into two different types. So for more routine levels of work, we've just got pretty much standard levels of PPE. What we must remember, we've been dealing with infectious diseases for years. So our protocols are probably one of the best out there. And, you know, a dental surgery is probably one of the cleanest places you could come. So actually, for routine treatment, there's not that much else. There's a few little bits and bobs, but more for some of the more advanced procedures and procedures where, you know, we're creating a little bit more mess. There's slightly more advanced levels of PPE, like visors, like more filtering masks, full-length gowns, as you can see from the image there. They're not the most flattering things ever. Hairnets, not so good for the old coif, but nevertheless, you know, it's important that we're safe, and it's important that staff are safe, and important that our patients are safe. So we don't mind. We're just so happy to be going back to be able to look after our patients.
And it's important that the PPE fits correctly, and there's certain tests you have to do to make sure of that.
Yeah, so with the high-level masks that we're wearing, they need to be fit tested, so the seal is really good. That's been one of the problems, actually, that, you know, having only received the news that we needed these things on Thursday, there's a lot of practices who even have the masks but can't wear them yet because they've not been properly fit tested by an expert. So, and basically you have them fit tested to make sure that you can't get any funny smells or taste through during the testing procedure. And if you pass, then you're good to go.
So what are the circumstances that people can come to the dentist now? Is it just emergencies?
Well, the first thing I would say is if you've been having a problem, or if you are currently having a problem, you need to just contact your practice. Most practices have set up still in place from during lockdown or during the main part of lockdown. So it's important, don't take things into your own hands. Whatever the problem is that you're having, contact your practice as a first line. A lot of practices will be easing their way into things and prioritizing patients who are having issues first, and then slowly bringing in more routine things as time goes on. But obviously, it's only fair that we prioritize the people who need it the most in the early days, so vulnerable groups as well, and things like that.
So as a patient, if you're coming to your surgery today, what are things going to look like? How safe will it be?
Well, the first thing is most practices are carrying out risk assessments of patients before they start. So the first thing is we're sending an online form to our patients with an updated medical history and a COVID screening, just to make sure they're not in a high-risk group. Also, just filtering what sort of symptoms and issues they're having. From that, then, a member of staff will ring them a day before, just again to go through it. And then when they come in on the day, obviously, pretty strict social distancing policies will be in place, added with the extra cross-infection policies. As you see from the video that we took there, you can see that there's going to be clear zoning, clear marking. In my very small London consulting room, we're only going to be having one patient in at a time. The waiting room is out of action. The bathrooms are out of action unless there's an emergency. And staff have the protective screens. So when they're dealing with reception, there's this screen there just to keep everyone safe.
How do you feel about going back to work?
Well, to be honest, guys, I'm just so happy that I don't have to homeschool anymore. It was killing me. So that's one good thing. And but generally, I'm just really happy to be able to look after our patients. I mean, I was practicing on a model just last night because I was worried I might have forgotten how to do it. So,
well, I'm glad I'm not coming in this morning then.
Good luck if we're going to see you today.
Well,
Good.
To be honest, guys, you scuppered my plans for my first two patients anyway, having to do this interview. So
don't say that. What about virtual appointments as well? Is that going to become a thing? Can you do that with dentistry?
Well, look, there's certain elements of things that we can do. So we've been carrying out virtual consultations for people who are having issues. We've been carrying out virtual consultations for people making inquiries into more elective types of treatment. But also, there might be reviews. So, for example, when we've done some treatment for a patient, sometimes I book them normally just for a bit of a review a few months later. And a lot of those times, we're just talking to the patient. So I'm sure there'll be elements of teledentistry and virtual dentistry brought in. However, dentistry is still very much a profession where you do really need to see the patient and you need to examine the mouth. We don't have really the technology yet where we can actually see everything in detail in the mouth. So for that reason, we will still need to see our patients.
Is there going to be a gap between patients? Because we hear a lot about, sort of the aerosol droplets that can hang in the air for a little bit of time.
Well, there's not a lot of evidence behind all these things. But obviously, I think in this period, remember, we are kind of still in some sort of lockdown. So it's important that we're safe. However, they're asking us to leave about an hour if we've used any sort of aerosol procedure, which will have an impact on patient bookings and availability of appointments. So we're asking our patients to be patient during this initial phase especially. Hopefully, once we are out of the sort of more important phases and things start getting relaxed more, some of these rules will relax, so we'll be able to get back to some semblance of normality. But in these early days, we'll probably find that, we're not able to see anywhere near as many patients. But look, I think it's a start, and we've got to be positive. as a profession. We've had a bit of a hard ride in that we've not really had the backing and the support from the powers that be that we should have had. However, we want to look after our patients, and I think everyone's just happy to be back.
And other areas of the UK, because, of course, we're talking about England here, but Scotland, they haven't specified a day to reopen. Northern Ireland, there's no changes to the restrictions, but face-to-face urgent dental care is available where needed. And Wales, all practices with NHS contracts will open for more remote telephone contact and urgent care from the 1st of July. So slowly, this is starting to spread out nationwide.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We will see more and more practices opening. We will see restrictions slowly being eased, fingers crossed, and yeah, fingers crossed we all get back to normality.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you. Good luck today. Hope it goes well. Still to come, we speak to the man who says it's time to stand up and actively change the narrative when it comes to racism in the UK. That's right after this.